You are watching Hot Springs Village Venues.
Hi, I'm Dennis Simpson, and here with Stephanie Heffer, and we're looking at the first episode of Hot Springs Venues. We're trying to tell you about the things that go on in the village, what you do, how to do things, and where you'd like to go do them. Stephanie, I heard years ago, and I heard just recently, I heard a lady say, well, we moved to the village for a while, and it's beautiful out there, but there was just nothing to do.
I think it used to be that way, but we've changed.
It has changed.
It's absolutely so much better. We have, there's just, we're going to talk about lots of them, but there's, for whatever interest you have, we have something to satisfy that.
I think that's well put, and I think it's pertinent, and we didn't do this by mistake. Stephanie and I both are in our
Be careful, Dennis.
5-something years,
Yes.
And because of that, we are becoming the village, which is kind of crazy, and in a different way. And we talked about this earlier. I have a job. You have a job. So we basically are not your average villagers. We're not getting up retired every day and sitting around drinking coffee, which sounds nice.
It does. It does. One of these days.
Soon.
We see that.
Not that soon.
That's right.
Not that soon.
That's right. I think I mentioned to you earlier, I was 22 when I moved to the Hot Springs Village and raised 2 children there. It was a great place to have my career. And I started young and didn't fit. I was completely out of my element, and now I've grown right into it.
And how many 22-year-olds were there when you moved in?
Probably not many.
Not many at all.
But there would have been a few. You know, there's a misconception that it's all retirement. It's not.
Yeah, sure.
You know, we do have young people that live there.
And for most people, and I just want to cut to this real quick, we'll get to the venues here in just a minute. There's roughly 400 and something kids that go out to school every day?
Oh, there's more than that. There's almost 1,000.
What?
There's a little over 600 that attend Jessieville School District.
Really?
And right around 300 that attend the Fountain Lake School District. So
that come from the village outside the gates every day?
That come from the village and are bused out to the 2 school districts every day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say also, and Stephanie, I've talked about this a little, my wife and I both are rare in that we're from Arkansas. We live on Lake DeSoto.
Yeah.
And literally our side of the lake, I believe there are 2 other families on the entire side of the lake that are from Arkansas.
Wow.
So we're
Not
rare.
surprised.
Yeah, we're rare in that way too. And once again, she's a CPA that still works in town. Hi, honey. And works a lot, frankly, is what it boils down to. But let's kind of hop in and see where we're going here. And by the way, if you say there's nothing to do in the village today, you're not paying attention. I don't think so.
We're going to dispel the myth.
We're going to dispel the myth. And we're going to talk about the Beehive and geeks who drink.
Yeah.
Don't all geeks drink? I would assume.
I don't think you have to be a geek to drink.
You don't have to be a geek?
No, I think
but you got to be smart.
It's a sport that we can all participate in. It just depends on how
the drinking or the trivia?
Both. You know, some are better than others, but no, Beehive has been such a phenomenal addition to Hot Springs Village. We are thrilled. The Village Progressives is a group that have come together and opened that. They're a boomer group. You know, they started looking for things to satisfy their need to have things to do for
the 50-somethings.
For the 50-somethings. Yeah. And it's fantastic. It's a kind of a mid-century. It's got a little bit of the rustic with the modern feel, the decor, live music, you know, lots of televisions, the sports bar look.
But now
great cocktails.
They call it a hangout.
It is a hangout.
Here's the deal.
I hang out there.
we hang out there.
Yeah.
And large screens for, like you said, for the TVs, but they've also got great live music, and we'll talk about that in a minute. We're
great
coming up to that.
Great big brand new patio. They've just recently opened. Large garage door type, you know, opens the whole building opens to the outside where we have a beautiful patio. Not we. I talk like it's mine.
Do.
It's not. They do. But I'm proud of it, so yeah.
Well, and let's come back to it. The Beehive, actually, the reason they kept the name, it was Beehive Florist, wasn't it?
It was. Yes, it was. That building has a bit of a history in Hot Springs Village. It started as a daycare, believe it or not.
Really?
Way back. In fact, I said I was 22 when I moved here, and my kids were very, very young then. They went to that daycare. And
really?
I actually sat on the board for that group. Again, that was a lot of years ago.
Many years ago.
As you mentioned, 50-something. We're not going to get
50,
specific.
so we're not getting any exact numbers.
50-something, yeah. So
wow,
it's cool.
And it was a daycare, it was a florist, it was all these things, and then frankly, it's
construction.
Really
It was the site of one of our builders. He had his office there, so construction kind of a headquarters.
Moving on, about 1 to 2 days a week, I will find myself at the lovely Balboa Club.
Yes.
Sitting out, having a chicken salad sandwich or a great Jack Daniel's barbecue.
They're famous for chicken salad sandwiches.
They're
That's
really
their
good.
thing. Yes.
And the barbecue is fantastic too.
Yes, it is.
And I'll have a little libation sitting there, and I'm sitting on the deck, and all of a sudden, people start piling in, and they're going to do what?
Are you talking about Friday night? They have a happy hour every afternoon. They have live music on Wednesday, and they have karaoke. Karaoke's the biggie.
Is that Tuesday?
Fridays
and
Tuesdays.
And Tuesdays.
It is. Yeah, Friday night's the big night. I mean, it will absolutely be standing room only. And
really?
Yes, and all of the raw talent of Hot Springs Village shows up.
Raw and not so raw. I got to tell you,
yeah.
When I actually see some of these guys, and I just talk directly for a second here, when I'm sitting preparing, just doing paperwork or something on my computer, and these guys come in and they are practiced and they are professional, they are ready to go, and oh my God, they look and sound fantastic. Some of these people, I mean, they're ready for the voice. They really are, and it's not everybody who's 70 and whatever. I mean, it's really it's a great looking crowd.
There's some talent. It's surprising. There really are. There's some great voices out there, good talent. And
so we're going to see you there next week, right?
No.
Well,
I might be there, but I will be an audience member, not a participant.
An audience, a viewer, not a doer.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Beyond that, I see, and we're trying to do these in a little bit of chronological order. Beyond that, we're going to have the Dam to Dam hike, and that's from Balboa Dam to DeSoto Dam.
It is, and that's we have a base camp program in Hot Springs Village, which is very cool.
Slow down.
Okay.
I've lived here bought and sold properties here for 20 years, lived here for 8 years. Base camp is for the kids, or
no? Base camp is just an outdoor program for the people that aren't necessarily a golfer, aren't necessarily a tennis player, aren't necessarily,
really?
But they love to hike. They love to do kayaking. They love other outdoor sports, and so we have what we call base camp, and it is. I won't call it a club because it's not a club, but it's a like the Dam to Dam hike is a great example of that. They do a New Year's Day hike every year. They'll have sunset wine drinking, and we'll talk about wine drinking.
We will. We'll come to that in a minute.
Wine drinking and kayaking.
I thought this was the hiking club doing this though. This is the base camp guys.
Yeah, base camp. With. In cooperation with the hiking club.
No, but I see like the base camp will be, I see where they're going to be at the Waypoint.
They are.
And I'm like, okay, what do they do at the Waypoint? Is this like their home base or something?
It is their home base. Actually, it is their home base. They have, again, we rent kayaks and canoes there. We rent little fishing kayaks as well. So, at one point we had the Ouachita Rod and Gun Club. We had the base camp, and now we've kind of combined those, if you will, into this kind of super extreme group of fun people that love the outdoors.
Really?
Yeah,
and it's not, as I understand, for the base camp stuff, it's the area and the surrounding area. I mean, they'll go to the national forest, they'll go to the national park.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's one of the great things about Hot Springs Village that we don't talk about near enough, and that is that we are right here in the middle of the Ouachita National Forest. Surrounded
by it all.
Yes, so while we're 26,000 acres of awesome, we have beautiful everything. Everything around us is phenomenal as well, so especially Hot Springs, being just a short distance.
Well, I'm gonna now and hang on, I haven't measured it, but I'm assuming from Balboa Dam to DeSoto Dam is probably 8 to 9 miles. It's a healthy hike.
Do I don't know the exact measurement, but
I mean it's a ways.
It's a heck of a ways. It is. Yeah, that's not for the faint of heart.
No, not at all.
You need to be.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Izzy Van, Home Repair and Maintenance. Izzy Van, a longtime resident here in Hot Springs Village, and his son, Chasen, are now doing home repairs, including power washing, roof cleaning, general home maintenance, repairs, lawn care, you name it. Izzy and Chasen are the guys to call if you need your deck worked on, you need pressure washing, you need a new roof, you need work on your back deck or leaves blown. These are the guys to call. Izzy and Chasen Van for Izzy Van Home Repair. Getting things ready for your guests to come out this holiday so you can just relax and enjoy the time with them. Izzy Van again is a longtime resident of Hot Springs Village and would love to service you. Please call Izzy Van Home Repair 501-545-0544. Again, that's Izzy Van 501-545-0544.
Diversified backgrounds, but they bring their talent, and it's good for us.
I'm going to completely digress and give you a sideways story. I was actually at Walmart, and I walked in, And I said, I need some Sta-Bil for my boat motor, you know, because I need the gas is going to be there all. And he said, yeah, as soon as we make the stuff, you know, it starts degrading, and within 30 days it reaches kind of its shelf life, and then it starts making a tar residue on the inside, and then it off-gasses the octanes, and then it comes down to, and I said, don't tell me, you're a chemical engineer and you moved from Houston to the Village 10 years ago. He was like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, this is the checkout guy at Walmart.
Seriously, I'm amazed and impressed every single day.
Yeah.
The people that we have, and the beauty of it is they give their talent. They freely give their talent to us as a volunteer, and just so many different ways. It really is phenomenal.
Well, you know, I've told you, we've had, I mean, literally hundreds of guests come to our Airbnb and stay with us. Yeah. And you can, if this was a fake, you could fake the beauty, and right behind here there's a dump, or behind here there's a whatever. Number one, it's not fake. And number two, you can't fake the people.
No.
Everybody's so genuinely, every guest comes up and goes, the people are so nice. If they don't say the people are so nice, I'm like, was there a problem? Was everything okay? Was it good? You know what
I think it is? They chose to be there.
Yeah.
Nobody is just stuck there, or, you know, their life sort of, I don't know, stalled, and they're just stuck. They chose to be there. It is a place they love. They fell in love with it when they drove through the gates, as so many people will tell you their story. And you can see it in their actions, and their, like you said, the conversations. Just those interactions, just brief ones at Walmart. You hear it.
And it's funny, awesome. You should say that it literally is exactly what it is. And I've said many times, nobody is Hot Springs Village because they have to be.
Right.
They want to be.
Absolutely. It's choice.
The Rick McKean, the one-man band, will be at the Beehive.
Yes.
And I'm interested to see that. That's the 26th. Yes. By the way, the Village Corral is the 25th. I meant to go back and bring that up too. And Eastbound and Down with Jackie B.
Yeah.
Now, have you seen
Village
them?
favorite.
Have you seen them at
I have. I've seen in many different locations. You know, they're popular.
They've actually been at the Coronado Center. They're going to be at the Beehive this next time.
They have.
The 27th, I believe.
They have.
And Jackie B was part of Jackie B and Me, that was like some kind of jazz duo that.
Yeah, I don't know their origins, but like I said, I mean, everybody in the village knows them.
Yeah,
really. They've become kind of almost the village group, right?
And Jackie is so entertaining, and the rest are great musicians, and anyway, they're a lot of fun. I was telling somebody the other day, they were asking about what it was like with Jackie B, and I said, she makes you smile.
She does. She's got energy to burn, and it's infectious, right? Everybody in the crowd becomes
you end up smiling, and you don't know why you're smiling, but you're smiling.
The music is music that people relate to, so they sing along, and it's just
some of it's Allman Brothers, some of it's country, some of it's rock, some of it's Eagles. I mean, it's all good stuff.
Yeah, a nice
a Boomers membership mixer at the I believe that is at the Beehive. I may be mistaken, but I think that's.
I don't know for sure on that.
Yeah, it's the 28th, and. For those of you that don't know, a lot of people, when they come to the village, they say, well, you know, we just don't know where to get started and get plugged in. And if you're in the middle group like we are, then it's careful, we're careful with that number, then the Boomers is really the place to get started.
It is, you know, yes. I mean, obviously we all know the numbers and how many Boomers are retiring every day, et cetera. And they really, they found each other in our community, and they, you know, they formed their own social environment, social clubs.
But the Boomers have a bowling group. They have a singles night. They have I mean, you name it. Oh my God, they have a little bit of everything.
You're right. Yeah.
And this general mixer, one of the first things Diana ever went to was the St. Patty's Day meeting, and then they have a Cinco de Mayo, and I mean, it's just a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
The Great Gatsby Gala Saturday. I don't even know.
Oh, I'm not too familiar with that one either, to be honest. Is that at the Coronado Center?
It's at the Coronado Center, and I just wasn't familiar with it at all. I knew that it was coming up.
Well, you know, just I'm sure that's a great event. The Coronado Center is that venue for us. That, you know, there's a lot going on there, and for so many different things. You know, I don't know if we're going to visit about the Lifelong Learning Institute, but there's a lot of things that happen there that are important to the community. Yeah, and there's a little wine drinking on occasion.
There's occasionally some tipping of the glass.
There's occasionally some wine
Tell me about the wine tasting. What goes on there?
Wine tasting has been such a popular. We do a wine event around the world, so we feature.
And every year, every event will be like Italy or Spain or whatever.
Exactly. Feature wines from that particular region of the world, and it's typically sold out. We have great turnout for that. And people come back for the next time. I mean,
and we like to tip up a glass occasionally.
And we like the wine. We like our wine.
I didn't really. I'm going to be silly. I'm showing in my lack of culture or naivete. Can you taste the difference between an Italian wine and a Spanish wine or something? I mean,
me personally, probably not. Now, I can taste the difference in a good bottle and a pretty darn cheap bottle.
Really?
I can.
After my fifth glass, my senses become much sharper.
We didn't talk about how many. Yes. But no, yeah.
We've got the HBC Spring Concert and Ice Cream Social coming up.
I don't know the date on that one.
That is the April the 28th. And let me check my notes here and see. I didn't make a note where that was. Do you know where it's located?
I don't. I apologize. But again, ice cream. We like our ice cream too.
We like our ice cream.
We like our wine and we like our ice cream. So ice cream socials happen from time to time. We've seen them at the Balboa Pavilion, at the beach.
Oh, that's right. And very few people go hungry in the village. We'll make note of that.
That is true.
Very few.
That is true.
This is one of those deals. And because Stephanie and I both work and we have these things called day jobs, this is something, honest to goodness, I really wish I had a little time to do. I'd be interested in the watercolor art class. I think that'd be fascinating.
Yeah. Well, we talked about how many talented people we have as far as singing and voice and performance. But we have amazing artists in our community too. We really do. Several different art clubs. They self-organize as well. They do shows from time to time. They're
if you really want a bargain, everybody at the village, we want a bargain.
Bargains, yeah.
Go into the Coronado Center, walk down the hall toward the library, and both sides are filled with art from Hot Springs Village residents.
Right. Yeah.
And if you think there's talent, oh my God, there's stuff. I would think it would be $1,000 a pop in a gallery.
You're
and
right.
I mean, I think the most pricey thing I saw was a couple $100. I mean, it's very inexpensive art for your walls, and it's from Hot Springs residents.
And you'll find, honestly, some of our residents have much of their art showing downtown Hot Springs. For gallery walks and things like that. They do.
Oh, there's a guy out on Isabella that I saw. He had a gallery walk. He said he lived over on Isabella.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So you're right. Talent to burn. I mean, there's just a lot of really.
Yeah, and coming up at the Woodlands, we're going to have the Arkansas Symphony Academy and Youth Orchestra May the 4th.
That's cool, isn't it?
It is beyond cool. I was telling you earlier, we had seen Nashville. We saw at the amphitheater, we saw Styx and the youth orchestra there. And to see these kids learning these songs and playing it with their elders and the people, their parents in the crowd going, whoa!
I love that, right? That really appeals to the cross-generational audience as well.
It brings everybody together, which is what music is supposed to do.
It is. And like we mentioned before, we do have 1,000 kids or more, living in our community. So we need to have things that appeal to not only our retiree, but our younger folks too. And symphony feels like an old person's thing, but it's not. It's not,
amazing. Yeah. It's beautiful music.
It really is beautiful music.
And 14,500 permanent residents, something like that,
right.
in that ballpark, and then 1,000 of those are kids.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have known that from the scratching the skin.
Right. Well, just the perception from people, folks. Folks mostly think that we're just strictly retirement.
Yeah.
And we're predominantly retired, but
I think that demographic's probably changing too.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, the 22-year-olds moving here and raising their kids. Yeah.
I started a trend. I'm just gonna say,
It's only been, I was going to say 30 years in the making, but it's been.
But who's counting?
A couple of decades in the making.
Right.
We're not counting anymore.
That's
no.
Right.
Paul Mister will be at the Rock Porch May the 4th that same day, competing with the symphony there. So that's an issue, but
Well, hey, Rock Porch is cool. Let's talk about that because Rock Porch sessions is something we started a few years ago, about the same time we did Base Camp and the Farmers Market and things like that.
Right.
But Rock Porch is the first Saturday of every month between April and October. I think
wait. Now, typically when I think of Rock Porch, I think of the new venue right beside the Woodlands. Is that where it's held most times or all the times?
Most of the time, unless we have a weather event. But
a weather event.
That's what we call it.
It sounds like rain to me.
We call it a weather
event.
But yeah, Grove Park is a really, really cool venue.
Yeah.
It's a neat little park. We've recently added some fun playground equipment for the kids that are there, but we've got a great fire pit. It's the home of our farmers market. We have a band shell, lights under the stars.
We've actually gone there with our family before and thrown out a blanket and just had the kids run around and play and listen to great music.
Yeah,
it's under the stars, as you say.
Under the stars. And talent is, comes primarily from Arkansas. We'll occasionally get a group that's touring and,
really?
en route from maybe Memphis to Dallas or something like that, and we'll get them on a stopover, which is great. We get a better.
And it just dawned on me. You said we get them for the villagers for free. Now, the POA pays them some small fund.
That's right.
But
it's a free
concert
for the community. It is. Yes.
And that's every.
It's the first Saturday of every month.
First Saturday
between
of every
April
month.
and October.
April and October.
Yeah.
Wow. And I knew I knew we had moved the last one because of
A weather event.
A weather event.
It was.
Yeah, weather
Yes.
event. Yeah. It was a weather event, that's for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
A couple of weeks out, just want to make note that Shannon Hershaw is coming to the Beehive, and he has been at the Bluebird Cafe. If you don't know what the Bluebird Cafe is, it's the breakout cafe in Nashville where everybody who's anybody kind of comes out, and besides Garth Brooks and I can go down the list. I mean, everybody started at the Bluebird, and actually, I think the Bluebird will have an open mic on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays in Nashville, and there's a wild competition just to be able to get on the menu to go do that.
Yeah.
So,
kudos to the Beehive staff for recruiting and
they
hiring.
really,
I mean, they're finding some really good talent.
it's
They
top-notch
really are.
quality. And by the way, if I'm not mistaken, and I think we'll touch on this in a minute, but I think the Beehive is now doing karaoke on some, or open mic night.
Open mic, yeah.
Which,
open mic night. So they might have a comedian or two. They might have, you never know what they're gonna.
I'll tell you this, I applaud them because, boy, that's a scary thing. It can, when you pay musicians to come in, and that brings in a crowd, and that's great, and they buy food and they buy drinks, that's cool. You never know what's going to come out of a comedian's mouth, do you?
That's back to when the wine comes in. You gotta have a couple glasses of wine.
Wine comes in.
Everybody's an open mic.
Everybody's open. Hey,
that's right.
you don't even have a mic. I'm open.
Say, my name's Stephanie. It's not even Mike. I mean, it works. You'll find a way.
We'll be back after that in just a couple of minutes.
D&D Village Properties offers high-quality rentals on Lake DeSoto in beautiful Hot Springs Village. Additionally, D&D Village Properties also offers lake, view, and golf lots inside of Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. If you'd like more information, please go to ddvillageprop.com. Again, that's ddvillageprop.com, only in Hot Springs Village.
All right, so we spent billions of dollars apparently on a pickleball court.
Yeah.
What's this all about? Obviously not billions, but what's the story?
Pickleball's cool. I mean, a lot of people aren't even familiar with what pickleball is, but it's the fastest growing sport in the senior segment.
Okay, I've seen that a lot, and I've heard that a lot. I've never even seen the game played. What do you do?
It looks like a tennis court, but it's smaller.
Right.
The ball is and then it sort of more resembles like a racket ball, paddle, and ball.
Right.
But it's not as hard on your knees. It's not as hard on your joints. So it's kind of a game that anybody can play. And
is it more tennis-like where you volley back and forth across
yes,
the...
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Huh.
it is. Yeah.
Well, it's obviously,
Cool.
and we'll drop in some photos here of the brand new facility. Yeah. Thank you, Renee Steinfors. In advance, I know where we're going to go with this because we're going to stick those photos up. Yeah. She has some beautiful aerial shots of the...
She does.
Of the place right there beside the DeSoto Club.
It is.
The DeSoto restaurant. Tell me more about the DeSoto restaurant. What's going on there?
We just put new carpet down. People are going to be so excited. Seriously, we've had a little bit a little noise problem there since the renovation, but new carpet. It looks beautiful. Already getting lots of really good feedback. So congratulations to Magdi, our food and beverage director. That was a good move by him. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And again, something else I know nothing about. Women's habitat build.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Well,
I see it on FaceTube, that U-Book thing, but I don't know anything else about it.
Honestly, Habitat's near and dear to my heart. I love it. I have a very, very good friend, Cindy Wagstaff, who is the executive director of Habitat.
No, that's Habitat for Humanity.
Habitat for Humanity here in Hot Springs. And once a year, they have what's called a Heels to Hammer build.
Like
women
high heels
is
to
what that
hammers.
means. Yes. So it's putting women in traditionally non-traditional
non-construction roles.
Yes, and so we have about 15 people from the village, many from our office, women that work in our office, as well as some of our at the POA, as well as some of the committee members who are women. We all get together. We go. In fact, this year it's May the 3rd. We'll get together and go downtown and we will build a house.
Do you know where the
building's
going to be?
In fact, we will build 2 houses.
Do you know? I mean, you say you're going to build a house like over a week or over a few days?
Yes, the build takes place over the course of about a week, and it's obviously not just us. We're there one day. There's many different groups. In fact, about 200 different women will participate in the build this year.
Really?
And another interesting little fact about Habitat in Hot Springs, 75% of their volunteers, in fact, I think it's closer to 80% of their volunteers come from Hot Springs Village.
Really?
In their normal everyday, not just the Heels to Hammer I'm talking. They build 8 to 10 houses a year, and
Really?
about 80% of their volunteer labor comes from Hot Springs Village. So I mentioned talent and our willingness to give back. It's
That's
awesome.
there.
It's
Well, and
amazing.
let's go a little deeper. Habitat basically builds a house, and they give it or they sell it or
They
lend
sell
it.
it.
Or
There's
what?
and there's all kinds of qualifications for that. That people go through a pretty strict background kind of thing.
Like a
and
vetting type
education.
thing?
Yes, an education, but basically Habitat finances the house at 0% interest.
Really?
And the people pay off that note to Habitat. They build them a house, and it's a dream come true. In fact, the 2 homes that we're building this year are for 2 single mothers that live in the community, and it's life changing.
So it's already pre-selected. They know where it's going to be.
They
know
do.
where the lot is. They've got
Yes.
the materials.
Yeah.
And
This year it's just off Hobson, I believe it is, in Hot Springs. And,
off Hobson.
So
I tell
it's
you what,
really cool. It really is.
And if John's listening, we're going to get some video and we will show that, because if you talk about what's
Yes.
happening in Hot Springs, it's happening because of part of Hot Springs Village, but
Yes.
it's happening in Hot Springs also. That's awesome.
Yeah.
With the Rockport sessions, we've already talked a little bit about. Those are awesome. The farmers market happens at the same place, and that's Thursdays.
It is Thursdays, May through October, and lots of local artisans as well as farmers come out.
There's honey, there's
There
artisans,
is.
there's art.
There's art. Some of our local artists that we mentioned come out.
Literally all year long, I have had a saw blade, and I'm thinking, I got to get
You
this
got
thing
to get that
sharpened.
thing. I thought you were going to say get it painted or something.
Well, I could
No,
get
okay.
it painted, but
Okay, yes.
there's a guy that has sharpening there. There's a couple of people
You're
that
right.
do sharpening.
There's jewelry makers, people that make beautiful jewelry. Like you said, honey. We have beekeepers that do honey, and but great
blueberries?
vegetables, blueberries. We have a local blueberry guy. And I love the farmers market. Farmers markets are just fun. In
It
general.
is. It
Love
is. Well, there's actually a guy that sells frozen meat. There's there's a butcher. There's all kinds of vegetables and whatever. And now, what time does it start usually?
7:30-ish.
And
about
it ends about
7:30.
noon?
Yeah, about 2. About 2
2.
o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah,
And that's every
7:30.
Thursday.
Every Thursday.
And that starts
May 1st.
May 1st. Great. I'm
Yeah,
looking
I
forward
don't
to
know
that.
if May 1st is the Thursday, but the 1st of May.
Right.
Yeah, and I would be remiss if I didn't back up for just a moment and talk a little bit more about the pickleball, because we do have, as you mentioned, we spent some money, built 14 new pickleball courts.
Oh, they're
in the
awesome.
village,
I
and
mean, they're
beautiful.
literally beautiful. Literally
They are.
beautiful.
But April 26th through the 28th of this year, we have our first sanctioned U.S. APA, which is the United States of America Pickleball Association. I believe it is the acronym for that.
Right.
And 250 people have already registered to play in the tournament.
Wow.
They will be coming from 15 different states. We have more than 50 volunteers in the village that are helping to run the program, and so it's going to be a big deal. So if you're out and about and you don't know what pickleball and you don't understand the whole rackets and the ball, come out, take a look.
But
There'll be
I'm
bleachers you
gonna
can
I'm gonna make a
watch.
sideline here too, because you're right on the same mark. We've talked about having groups come into the village to promote the village. Okay,
Yes.
golf tournaments. We're going to have golf tournaments come in. We're going to have pickleball. Well, we got to have we got to have centralized housing for these or whatever. 250 people are coming for the pickleball,
Yeah, isn't that cool?
and they're
It
going to
is.
stay, I guess, at Airbnbs or at
They
the
will.
village or
Yes.
at the hotel, the village inn or whatever.
Yeah, they will. They'll stay all of the above, and probably some in Hot Springs, but hopefully we'll keep most of them out in the village for a few days and get them on the golf course, get them to see some of the other beautiful things about the village, and
Sure.
maybe get them back for a second or third visit later
Well,
on down
now
the
let's
line.
talk
So-
about that too, because there are things that are near and dear to my heart, and Lake Lago is one of them. And I'm going to give you some history. Here's the pop-up question: how long has the pavilion at the Lake Lago Overlook? How long has that been there?
I don't have an answer, but I have a guess.
Guess.
I have a guess. I'm going to say 1982.
You are so close,
Okay.
because it was 86, I believe,
Okay.
when that exact pavilion was moved from the other side of the dam at Lake DeSoto
Really?
and hauled all the way up to the top of Lake Lago Overlook. That pavilion
Wow.
was actually built on the pad across from. So if you drive out, and it's Seville, Seville's the name of the road. If you drive out Seville to the end of the dam, to the little dam walkway there, to the beach at
Right,
DeSoto,
at DeSoto.
just stand right there and look across the spillway, and on the other side of the spillway, there's a little flat top.
And that's where that used to
That's
sit.
where the pavilion,
Oh,
that they
interesting.
took that pavilion. That pavilion was built in 72.
Wow.
And they moved it around 82 or 85, and they moved it over to Lake Lago.
Well, if you've not been to the Lookout, above Lake Lago, it's truly just, it's something to see. It's absolutely beautiful.
It really
is. Every community has that place where they take their friends, family, guests. Yeah. That's where we take ours.
What's it like? Well, here, going over to Lake Lago.
Let's go look at it. Yeah,
Speaking of Lake Lago.
Yes.
And not standing on landmines or anything, but the CMP clearly states, and we've talked about, the CMP has been enacted. Let's just say that.
Yeah, it was adopted back in April last year.
Been adopted, and we're looking to do things in the CMP. That doesn't mean we're going to do everything in the CMP. It means we're going to do some things.
Sure.
One of the things in the CMP is putting a world-class biking trail, as I understand it, around Lake Lago. And was it the area behind the dam or just right there at Lake Lago?
You know, Lake Lago is beautiful, as you mentioned, and it's undeveloped.
Well, and nobody knows because it's blocked off. You can't go see it.
That's right. It's our water source. It's why we have the best water in the country, in my opinion. I think we have fantastic water, but there's beautiful land all the way around that's not developed. There are no homes, as all of our others, and you can see the pretty picture behind you.
Yeah.
But there are no homes, and so it's kind of primed for some hiking, walking, outdoor activity.
Yeah.
You know, just that good, convening with nature, right? And so the master plan does talk a lot about bike trails back to base camp. That's part of that initiative.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we have a trails committee, again made up of volunteers from all walks of life, but they have their own master plan, and the trail around Lake Lago is part of that master plan. So when it happens and in what sequence, I don't know that exactly, but it would be an amazing addition to Hot Springs Village.
It would be, and a lot of people, what they don't understand is that there's the lake itself, and it has a big ditch around it. Believe it or not, there literally is a ditch around the entire lake to keep the runoff water from going into the lake. Yeah. I know it's counterintuitive, and I've talked to Jason about it, and he makes note this may be something we're changing eventually. But we actually, when we run low on water, we pump it out of the middle fork of the Saline River.
We do.
And so here's the dam, here's the lake, which is magnificent and completely unfished for the last 50 years to speak of.
Yes.
There's got to be unbelievable monsters in the bottom of that lake.
There's got to be, you're right.
So there's a berm all the way around that, and he had said in places the berm is failing, and they're kind of letting it fail because pumping water out of the lake, if there was a spill on the protected part of the middle fork of the Saline River, and we had to pump water into the lake, that would be very bad.
Right.
Or if there was a spill inside the bowl that kind of goes from Durante over to Macero, that's kind of the bowl that makes that entire lake. If there was a spill there or something, but what would be the odds of a spill or something there? So that's what that berm was initially built for, was to protect the water that's there, but it probably would be safer in the village than it would be pumping water out of the middle fork of the Saline River. So anyway, the area is that the area, there's like, I guess 200 acres behind the dam that just goes kind of off over to the lake, to the river. Would that be part of the trail if that was?
I don't know exactly how they've got it designed at this time, and I'm sure it's tweaked all the time, right? Just depending. But it would seem crazy not to take advantage of all that beautiful land.
Well, I think Mr. Twigg said long ago we should be taking, and he had a point. Really, it's a waste. It's a waste.
Well, and you think about what's happening in our region, again, back to Hot Springs and the International Mountain Biking Association, IMBA, if you will. We have, I think it's 4 epic trails now in Hot Springs, which is really big deal. It's a really big deal for those people that aren't mountain bikers, don't understand it, but it's a distinction that not many states can claim.
Really?
In fact, I think we're one of a couple, maybe California and Colorado, that have that distinction of having that many mountain biking trails. So we have a couple up in Northwest Arkansas, and I think 4 here in Hot Springs.
Is the IMBA, is that the term?
Yeah, International Mountain Biking Association.
Okay, is IMBA part of the Little Rock to Hot Springs Trail, or is that part of the Park Service? But they are connecting, and a lot of people don't know that.
It's a national group, IMBA.
Yeah.
But
what I'm getting at is there is a project to go from Little Rock to Hot Springs, which will tie into the other trails here.
I think it's a little bit of a trails to rails kind of thing, right?
Yeah, down the old railroad path.
Yeah, which also really cool project. Can't wait to see that happen.
I used to own some land in Lonsdale where they're going to be running down that railroad path, and it's just gorgeous, gorgeous land. I can imagine, the trip to Hot Springs 100 years ago must have been pack your rifles, we're going on down to Hot Springs,
Right.
Well, and with that, we'll be back in about 30 seconds.
Pat Bowyer, the real estate agent with RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village, has been helping people for over 14 years. Whether you want to sell your home, buy a new home, just buy a lot to build your dreams on, or you just want to know what your property's worth, call Pat today. She can help you understand the ins and outs of Hot Springs Village in this ever-changing market. Pat's in-depth knowledge and extensive understanding of the village can help you in every way to make your biggest investment your best investment. Call Pat today at 501-425-0134. Again, that's 501-425-0134. And start making your dreams come true today.
Well, we've been joined since the break. We have a new visitor on the screen, and I think he's cuter than anybody on the set. But no offense, but
I agree with you.
He is absolutely a beautiful pup. This is Fluff, and he is 8 years old. Fluffy, I should say. This is John's dog, and he's what'd you say, miniature? Toy Australian. And what a sweetie! What a sweetie!
Fluffy, let's go. All right.
Well, but there we go. Hopefully we're going to be joined by Fluffy again soon because she's as cute as they possibly come. Stephanie, tell us what's going on at the POA.
Well, it's, we've had 3 new board members come on
just
on
this
board
last
with us.
week? Yeah.
Yes, excited about that. 3 very talented men that left, and we were grateful to have their service for the last several years.
Right.
For people that don't realize, the board is all volunteer.
No pay, no expenses, no
None.
nothing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
whoever you pay to run to be on the board. You many times take abuse and emails from people who don't understand what's going on, but mean well. And then you basically pay to volunteer for this service. God love them, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
no matter what side of the discussion you're on, these people have really, quote, done the Lord's work, if you know what I mean.
They really have. I mean, they have the community at heart and the best for the community at heart. And it's shown in every single action that they have. Agree or disagree with their decisions, they're there for all the right reasons. So again, we as a staff are so grateful for all of what they do. But big thing, 50th anniversary. So Hot Springs Village turns 50.
What was that age again?
2020.
50.
50. Somewhere in the neighborhood of you and me.
I don't know anybody. Yeah, maybe. Okay, maybe somewhere in that, plus or minus 10 or 20 or something.
Right, that's right. So a new committee has been formed recently to help to start the process for the festivities that will happen in 2020. So
do you have any idea? So we're just making the committee. We don't have any idea what's really going to happen?
We don't, but there's some milestone things that will happen that we know about. The pool recently was approved, and the new outdoor pool will open in 2020. So that's where's it going to
be built? Is it on the same location?
In its same original location, which is right next to pickleball, right next to the DeSoto Club.
And the people that don't understand, I was a skeptic also, and then I began to look and see some of the pictures. Oh my goodness! I mean, the plumbing literally was falling apart. I mean, the building was falling apart.
Absolutely.
It wasn't designed for 50 years of use.
It was not, and back in 1970-ish when it was constructed, it wasn't using the same technologies and the same standards that they have today in swimming pool construction. So, but anyway, that's exciting news. And again, this committee, group of talented people coming together, brain power. And they're going to entertain us in
incredible abilities. That's what comes forth with it when a lot of different people from a lot of different places. So 50 years, let's talk about a little history. Do you know what the dark corner is?
I do.
Do you really? Tell me about your knowledge. What you got?
If I'm right, the dark corner it's a street. It's a roadway, right?
Dark Corner Road goes from Cortez Road.
From Cortez Road, okay.
And it goes out to the Tillery Farm.
Yes.
But why is it named the Dark Corner Road?
That I don't know.
Because back in the turn of the century, I mean, we're talking literally 100 years ago, if you were on the run from the police, you would go to the dark corner of Garland County.
Wow.
And the dark corner of Garland County, they pulled a moonshine still out of the dark corner of Garland County in 1989.
Wow.
And you're thinking, right there, yeah. The dark corner, the area that we're thinking about, you know where well, most people may not, do you know where the grave on Cortez Road is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, and you know why there's a grave on Cortez Road?
I do not. Did it have to do with chicken pox or smallpox or something?
No.
Okay.
And actually what happened was there was a gentleman in the community. If you go back down to the Cortez Gate, the Cortez Gate goes out, there's an old community just across the middle fork of the Saline River there. Those people still live there that have always been here before the village came around and whatever. Mm-hmm. And one of those gentlemen was on this side and had a farm and passed away, and the river was so high they couldn't take him across the river.
So they buried him there?
So they were getting ready to bury him there, so they buried him there. And at the time, I guess it would be in the 20s or 30s, it was a hill. Who cared? Who knew?
Right.
Why would you be concerned?
Matter.
But so let's back up a little to the early 70s. Cooper has built. Cooper already owns Bella Vista. They started with Cherokee Village.
Right.
They bought Bella Vista. That was a failing development at the time that they did not decide to put a gate around. Yep. Interesting note.
Right.
They were prospecting for other things. They found the village in the 70s and started building that way. About Cortez would be about 73 to 75 in that ballpark.
I think it was the second golf course built.
Exactly, exactly, which I think opened 76 or 78, something
right,
like that.
Yeah.
But what they were doing was they had the old-timey spinning faxes machine where you would put a piece of paper on it and you would spin the drum.
I remember those.
You're not that old. You're not that old. But they would put a piece of paper on there, spin it, and you would fax it back to Bentonville and say, there's a grave in the middle of the road where we're trying to build. What do we do?
Wow.
And they would send a plat and say, here's how the plot is, and we got the road going this way, and the word came back from Bentonville. Build around it.
Build around it. Wow.
And the men's club graciously, I think, all these years has been actually driving around, has kept that garden spot up and whatever. But it's a fascinating spot. And I think we're going to have some video on that shortly and show you what the grave in the middle. I'll even take you out to
you are a wealth of knowledge.
A half wealth of knowledge, I believe.
That is interesting, though.
Next time we have an episode, I will show you the catfish pond.
Thank you for watching Hot Springs Village Venues. Please stay tuned and follow us on Facebook to see the next episode.